At She Can, we tell women's stories. We show how women got to where they are today. And that's really inspiring, motivating, and mentoring so often. I'm really happy to introduce Sarita Bahety today. Sarita, welcome to She Can. You are the head of alliances of EMEA at L&T Technology Services in Europe. You specialize on alliances and partnerships. You're a strategist, you're an ecosystem builder, and you are a business development enthusiast. You're also a diversity and inclusion champion, and you really are the glue that stitches the major processes together: people, technology, and data. And we are recording this to talk about diversity and inclusion in the tech industry for the International Women's Day coming up. Sarita, so tell us a bit more about yourself and what you do.
Thank you, Stephanie, for a wonderful intro, and very excited to be here with you today and the She Can family. So very quickly about my background. So in my current role, I look after partnerships and strategic alliances for our business here in Europe. We are into engineering and R&D, as well as I look after partners in the cybersecurity space, sustainability space, and so on. So the main idea is how can businesses leverage the data they have to derive actionable insights to become more innovative, more sustainable, and improve human lives across the world.
And that sounds incredible. Now, we need to decode that a little. Tell us a project that you are working on now where you can decode this a little bit for us. What does that mean on a day-to-day basis?
Sure, Stephanie. So I work alongside technology partners, which can be as varied from industry partners to cloud service providers and so on. So our talented engineers alongside product specialists, enablement teams, sales, delivery, and the technology teams from the partner side, we all come together to anticipate the market demands, the needs, the future, what it will anticipate. And basis that, we create offerings which can then help our clients and prospects become more sustainable, for example, that is one of the criteria, or become more innovative, or probably hit many more of these marks while becoming more compliant to regulatory restrictions that we have. So bringing all these elements together, and as we can see, technology is at play here, right? The technology can shape up how we look into the future, and we are the shapers of the technology. So how to make that technology enabler for us while working with multiple entities and creating those solutions and offerings which can improve lives.
Yeah, it's incredible. Sarita, so tell us a bit more about your journey. How did you realize that you're a STEM girl and this is what you want to do?
So Stephanie, growing up, I had a chance to work in Nepal in a university where I graduated from as a graduate assistant. So my first, scope of work was working with the computer science students, and that is where I learned that okay, technology can have a profound impact, because Nepal being a country where a digital transformation is much more needed, being in remote parts, people don't have access to basic fundamentals, and digital can change that a lot. So I felt that if this can be taken at a broader level, this can help shape up so many lives in a much better way. And that's where I realized, okay, technology is part of the puzzle. It's not the entire puzzle, because you can have technologists creating wonderful technology, but until the business people take it to the right audience, it doesn't mean a lot. So how to technology adoption at a wider scale, and people embrace it, that becomes important. And that then led me to take a business course. I took up an MBA, and that then opened doors for me to bring together both the business and technology aspects of it, to work with alongside teams to create those solutions which can be then marketed and take a broader impact on innovation as a whole. So it's been a variety of roles that I've taken to reach here, and therefore, I have worked in public sector, in private sector. I started working in the startup. I have experience of working in a Fortune 200 company. So working across industries, geographies, kind of gives you best practices, which you can then skim and apply to any other industry, because oftentimes these can be relevant across geographies. So that has led to me being where I am today, a lot of amalgamation of a lot of things that I've learned, picked, and applied. STEM has been integral, because if you don't have STEM education, a lot of such roles may not be even opening up to you.
Yeah.
So to get into technology, STEM is, bare minimum that I would say people should take up if they are interested.
Sarita, so what would you say is your main motivator?
So Stephanie, as we were talking, my main motivator is to see more women representation across the talent pool. And in the workforce, if you look at, now the things have improved quite a lot. Women are taking up STEM subjects, more technology-oriented subjects. However, across the talent pipeline, if you will, at an entry level, you'll see far more women, which is great. But as you start, progressing through this pipeline, in the mid-management level, there are fewer women. If you look at leadership roles or at the boardroom level, there are far fewer women than you would like to have, or for that matter, other gender identities. So the policies made by these decision makers who are sitting in the boardrooms or in the leadership roles can be very skewed, which can serve only a certain strata of society. So if we want to use our technology, our policies for a broader good, or as we say, as talking about International Women's Day, to inspire inclusion, which means as a policymaker, as a decision maker, as an influencer, we have to have that representation so that these policies work for most, if not for all. And that is what motivates me every day.
Sarita, and that I love, of course, because we are all in it together and every one of us is here to and can make a difference. And so, what would you say are the important changes to be made to change this data that we have? And that's very clear, black on white. We have very few women in leading positions. Across all industries, but especially the technology industry. And therefore, of course, also the products get changed, right? We are severely underrepresented in AI. That is now a big push on AI worldwide. We have a lot of new products coming to market, and that is the default is always a male. So how can we change that?
I think the change will be gradual, because technology, as I said, there are far fewer women than maybe other industries. So to begin with, education becomes super important. Instilling STEM, instilling installation of STEM education right from the beginning, and qualifying it maybe as a precursor to what people can take up as a broader subject as they grow up. So if we have more role models or more people who have taken STEM subjects come and talk about how it has benefited their life, how it has added value, even though they may not work in technology, but at least talk about, how it has helped streamline their thinking, optimize their lives, that can open up people to take up these subjects. And STEM is a part of it. You need to apply it. So if you learn something, share it. If you know what works, talk about it. And I think what holds up women quite a lot is not being able to share what they know in public forums. So oftentimes I travel to industry conferences, and if I look at a list of speakers, for example, or the panelists, for example, so in technology industry, it's getting better, but I would have loved to see more representation coming in there. So the more vocal women become, and these are smaller platforms, right? Being able to come and talk about their lives, for example, in networking events. So those kind of build upon your confidence to share some of these things on even a larger scale. So we need to have more women coming forward to share what they already know and be open to learn from others, and then again propagate it as if it's their own. So that confidence has to come, and hopefully STEM education will be a good starting point to think about those things.
Yeah, I think the confidence gap is a real issue still to this day, and I see it all the time. And every single time I hear the daughter of a friend who gets into a great uni on a STEM subject, I'm having a tiny little celebration in my head. Sarita, so what qualities do you think you have that serve you every day to do what you do really well?
I had a broad range of work experience, as I talked about my experience from a startup where I was, a 33rd employee, really starting out. So I had a real uh, visibility into how things are shaped up, what works, what doesn't. And from there to a Fortune 200 company. So having worked across size and scale, across industries, across geographies, and across industries has given me a good amount of understanding of people. So I would say my interpersonal skills are, I would say I would rate them top notch. And that helps in bringing people together, being more collaborative. As I talked about, if you have business in one place and technology in one place, it doesn't work. They both have to talk to each other. So bringing two different or more entities who have different agendas together, talk to each other, and then come to a conclusion, which then, right from making a concept to execution, to deliver something tangible, which people can use, takes a lot of effort. And therefore, I would say collaboration is my top-notch skill, which has served me very well. And without good communication skills, you can't be collaborative. So communication and collaboration go hand in hand. And I think over having worked for over 2 decades now almost, these skills get fine-tuned every day as you meet more people around you from different cultural backgrounds and industry backgrounds.
Yeah, great, Sarita. And what what top tips would you give to younger girls now listening that think maybe this is, it's a massively expanding industry. I'm interested in STEM. What top tips would you give them?
So Stephanie, my sort of encouragement would be to, of course, besides taking STEM, which hopefully you will after listening to both, Stephanie and I, the other things that you should be doing is, and start doing it as early as you can, is to build a professional network. Because oftentimes we get good skills, we get trained, certified, what have you, we are good at our jobs, we do something that we put our mind to very well, but then again we are in a silo, we are in a cocoon, we don't look laterally. So being able to build that professional network right since your beginning of the career is important, because A, you can get access to more opportunities, and B, you can share what you have learned. Otherwise, what you have learned stays with you, and the opportunities that were rightfully yours will never come to you if you don't know who to go to talk to. So build that network takes a lot of time, effort to build the trust, and keep reaching out. Don't just restrict yourself to the domain that you work in. So for example, if I'm data and AI, let me not just stick here. Let me talk to people of different industries, of different geos. And today, platforms such as LinkedIn really can help you a lot here. So
Yeah.
use these platforms to hone those networking skills and then apply them in the real life.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that. Sarita, so what are you most proud of to date?
Stephanie, there have been a number of things that I've done across last couple of decades. I would like to talk about a recent project of mine. So in this particular project, we were working with a technology partner, a technology giant, I would say, a cloud service provider partner. And our aim was to create an offering which helps become, businesses to become more sustainable. So we created that offering. Now the idea is, as I said, if you create something and if you don't share or market, it just stays with you. So I worked alongside our teams in offshore to bring these offerings to Europe and to global markets. It took us a lot of time from conceptualizing to execution because there were a number of stakeholders involved, right from engineers to product specialists to delivery teams. However, in this case, there was an added dimension of legal teams and government getting involved, because if you physically launch something from place A to place B, a lot of taxes and laws change. And we were able to somehow then navigate them and get the demo launched to the Technology Hub Center finally. And I would say it took us a lot of time, but it was worth it because this particular technology giant only adopts those products and offerings which are vetted by their team, and there's a stringent vetting procedure. So after all those hoops, we were finally adopted by their marketplace, and I'm very proud to say that we are already, launched in that technology hub, and my aim is to take it to as many locations in Europe and globally. And this is a special product because it helps businesses become more sustainable. And I think today it's a core agenda for a lot of C-suite people, how to make their processes, their offerings much more sustainable and drive innovation.
Which is a real change-making product because we need more sustainability going forwards. And if we do that on a more sort of high-level systemic basis, then we also create a lot more change much faster. So congratulations for that, Sarita. So what are your goals and plans for the next couple of years?
So Stephanie, my goals and plans are to continue working in data and AI space. Technology is super important. And at the same time, get to a decision-making and leadership position wherein I can influence some of those trends, some of those technology decisions. Because as I said, if we don't have enough representation, we can't make technology work for us. So how do I reach that level where I can make those decisions? And oftentimes I see these decisions are made by people who hold the budget, who hold the revenue or the P&L. So get to that level where you can, make those decisions as a budget owner and drive outcomes.
Yeah, I'm so thankful you said that because it's all about representation and role models to change these, to really move the needle. Sarita, so who were your role models? Did you have someone who inspired and motivated you to do what you do now?
Well, interestingly, I come from a family where I'm the first generation graduate. So within the family, there were not very many women to look up to as a role model. However, I was very privileged to win scholarships to multiple educational institutes in Asia. And that's where I met with a number of women professors. And they kind of opened my world to, okay, this is what you can do if you have access to technology, if you have access to STEM. And after my education, I started traveling abroad to meet with partners, to meet with people in our business. And that kind of opened me to, a lot many more women during networking events. And that's what inspires me. So that is part of it. But I'm also inspired by very many women in politics, in sports, in cinema, and so forth, who have done so well. And, we talk about them day in and day out. So I get really inspired by what they have to offer to the world and keep inspiring us day in and day out.
Yeah, and thank you for mentioning that. What a year was 2023 and all these incredible women winning prizes on the international stages of film and music. And yeah, it's definitely propelling us all forwards. Sarita, thank you so much for this really great conversation today and for telling your story.
Pleasure. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for having me on this Women's Day special edition for She Can. I really appreciate it. And looking forward to a better representation of women and other gender identities across the world in different domains. Thank you so much.